You're watching Ladies in the Locker Room. We'll be right back.
I saw you laughing.
I
Let me
love the
say,
introduction.
It was new. I haven't seen that one. And I was like,
it's,
this is awesome. I like the
it's
music.
thank
And
you. It's brand
and you're
new.
like, and your
Absolutely.
basketball skills. I was like, dang, you should get out on the court soon.
Man, I
Look,
got inspired, Lindsay. I said, "Oh, let me go out on somebody's football field and basketball court. I gotta outdo Hattie. She not gonna outdo me on
I
this
know.
couch. Giving out some sport gossip. I gotta get out in the field, even though I
y'all,
don't play."
you guys are so silly. Thank you. This is the first time everybody's seen it. I just did it. So it's the new
It's
one. No one has
beautiful.
seen it. You all saw it all together. Listen, I was
I love
laughing
it.
so much when I was playing basketball with my son. He was making me laugh. And you ought to know by now, swag girl, I just laugh too much. I cannot play basketball and laugh. And it was so crazy because back in the day, one of my best friends and my best basketball buddies, and God rest her soul, she passed away. Her name was Robin Wilson.
Oh
And
wow.
Robin, she cracked up through the whole game. That was her thing to do. She would be laughing at everything we did. We stole the ball. We shot the ball. She would don't fall on the court. Somebody fall or something like that.
Oh
Robin,
God.
Robin cracked up for the whole game.
That
So
would like throw me off. So I'd be like, oh my God, that would like, that's a good strategy. Like, I never tried that when I was playing, but like now looking back on it, that seems
listen,
like,
the way and Robin, like if she came to steal the ball on you, she'd be like, "Oh, ha, ha." She would do stuff, and I would be laughing. I'm like, "You stupid! Stop it!" But we laughed through the whole game, but I could not laugh like her and play.
Oh my
And so when I
God.
was out there with my son, he was making me laugh. I was like, "You making me laugh?" He's like, he was saying, "Come on, ma, you can make it. You know you can make it." And I'm like, "We shut up. It's been a long time." So,
Too
but thank
funny.
you guys. I'm glad that you liked the opening.
I liked
So
it. I liked it.
Loved it.
everybody, welcome to Ladies in the Locker Room. And ladies,
Yes.
introduce yourselves.
Lindsay, you go first because you're always so great at this.
Well, I'm Lindsay and I'm from Orange County, California.
And I'm Adrian. I am currently in Atlanta, Georgia, bringing you the Swagalicious Media Sports Gossip today on our
So
segment of
ragalicious,
Ladies in the Locker Room.
so ragalicious sports media.
Yes.
So yes, and of course I'm Hattie, New Jersey girl. I'm a Jersey girl, and
Yes.
it was so crazy because I went yesterday to a New Jersey get together.
Did
Every
you?
year we have this. It's like a family reunion, but it is a group of New Jersey friends, and we meet up somewhere and have this big cookout, and it was so huge, and it was so much fun. And I know you've heard me say before, Lindsay, I think, but I haven't said it by Adrian. I used to run a Boys and Girls Club. I was the program coordinator.
Got you.
So I ran a Boys and Girls Club. So I watched so many kids grow up to become so many different things. And but during the Boys Club, I was Miss Hattie, the Beastmaster. That's what they used to call me. Like the warden, the Beastmaster, whatever. Okay. But I saw some of my kids from the Boys Club who are now very grown men. I don't even know. So they would walk up to me with all this beard and all this. Miss Hattie, you don't even know who I am. I'm like, no, I don't. There's a man standing in front of me. No, I don't know who you are. And it was
Yeah.
so crazy. One of them, his name was Hassan Jackson. We call him Hassi. And Hassi was so bad. But he grew up to be a very handsome young man. He had his family there. I felt bad after I left because he's standing there and he's got his sons and his wife. And I'm like, Hassi, you were so bad. And I felt bad.
That's why I'm laughing.
And after I left, Hasi, if you watching Hasi, I love you. You know I love you. I love all my kids. The good ones, the bad ones. The bad didn't bother me. It really didn't. I got used to it. I
Yeah.
didn't. When I kicked you out, you did something real bad.
Okay.
And I thought about it as I was coming home. I was reflecting on everything, and I just loved Hasi. And I'm looking at him, and that's the first thing I said, Hasi, oh my God, you were so bad. And I said that in front of his son, and I felt bad. After I got
Like
home, I
that.
felt bad. He said, I was. He said, Miss Hattie, I'm Miss Hattie, I was. His wife was like,
I was.
I said, but I thought about it. Hasi, like I said, Hasi, be watching. Hassan Jackson from New Jersey, from the projects. Miss Hattie, love you. You know that. I love all my kids. And let me tell you something about the Boys and Girls Club. I almost feel bad that my grandchildren did not have a chance or haven't been able to be members of the Boys and Girls Club. I don't know if you guys have ever been a member of a Boys and Girls Club.
No, raised used to raise money for that, or I do for nonprofits. So it was amazing.
I am so that kid. First of all, I was one of the first girls in our boys club that they later on changed to the Boys and Girls Club. Initially, it was just called the Boys Club. And then later on, they changed it to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
Oh, okay.
I was that kid. I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club. And like I said, I was one of the first girls that they let in the boys club. And I was a sports girl anyway, so they was ready to let me in because they go, she know how to play, let her in. So they let me in right away. But then as I became an adult and a camp counselor, I was a camp counselor as a teenager. And then as an adult, I became the program coordinator. And I am proud to say that I had the honor to work with a lot of great people who turned out, they were kids, and some of them was bad kids, but they turned out to be great people. And I have to mention one of my other kids, Matthew Hawes. Matthew sent me a message, and it was just so humbling. One year, he just retired from the Army, from the United States Armed Forces, and he mentioned me in his retirement speech. And he said, if it wasn't for people like Miss Hattie who fought me as a kid and made me do certain things, made me, and his mother was like, amen, Miss Hattie. She said, Miss Hattie, come and get him before I kill him. And, you know, Miss Hawes and Matthew Hawes and his sister Melissa, they were kids that grew right up in my club. And I was so humbled that when he retired from the Army, that his family contacted me. And I sent him a little congratulations speech. And he had mentioned me. He didn't know that his family had got in contact with me to send him the speech. But he was one of those kids who I saw potential in as a young kid. He was a very bright boy who just wanted to be bad. Yes, Matthew, you wanted to be bad. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a bad kid, but he wanted to be with the bad kids. Smart, honor roll student. I'm like, what are you doing? Get over there and do your work, you know. But I have nothing but great memories of the Passaic Boys and Girls Club, of being there as a kid and then also being there as an adult. Thank you, Flip. Flip the film guy is watching us. It's a Flip the video guy is watching. Thank you, Flip. But I have nothing but great memories of the Boys and Girls Club. And like I said, and I'm bad. I am a Boys and Girls Club junkie. Because when I drive going from north to south or going anywhere, and this was before COVID, but if I get into a town, I don't care what town, where in the world, if there's a Boys and Girls Club, I'm like, oh, wait, pull over. There go a club. And I would go in. Let me speak to the director. Let me introduce myself. What y'all got going on? And that's how in love I was with the Boys and Girls Club. And when I moved to Georgia, it was a whole different vibe. They weren't as into it like my club was. We had the Keystone Club and, you know, the Peanut Patrol. We had all kind of little clubs. And I got to mention Miss Jessie May. Miss Jessie May was an adult female from the projects in New Jersey. Like, she ran the club in the projects and I ran the club in the building, and we got our kids together and we created such an atmosphere. So when this kid walked up to me, he's like, Miss Hattie. And then even when I walked in, the DJ, Miss Hattie in the house from the Boys Club, and my sister was like, God, dog. And I'm like, but I don't know who that is, because these are men now. These were little boys running around in the club, and now they're grown men just doing their things. But I want to say to all my kids from the Forsaken Boys Club, Miss Hattie, you know Miss Hattie loves y'all. I can promise you, the 5 years that I was the program coordinator at the Boys Club, I can guarantee you ain't a child that won't sit there and go, oh man, we had so much fun. Because we did every day. It used to be funny to me because the kids were there from the time they got out of school until, you know, the little kids had to leave at 8 o'clock. The big kids could stay till 9. But let a mother show up in there about 5 o'clock. They'd be like, Mom, what you want?
Because that kid is not ready to go.
No,
like you can go to the grocery store. I can see your side man on the side, but come and get me at 8 or 9. Look, I'm good.
I used to be cracking up because the mothers be like, well, I was just coming to get you. I thought you wanted to go home. It's like, no, the club don't close at 8 o'clock. Go to the store or something. They used to say something like that. Come back at 8 o'clock. I'm not going home now.
Absolutely.
The mother's like, Miss Hattie, what are you doing to these kids? They don't want to go home. I said, we have a lot of fun. And you know what? And it wasn't just fun and just games.
Yeah.
As the program coordinator, one of the most rewarding program that I created was called the After School Homework Club. The
Okay.
Homework Club. So they came straight from club from school to the
Cool.
boys club. But in the beginning, they just come in, throw them book bags down, and start playing games. And I'm
Yep.
like, wait a minute, hold on. My kids grew up in the club too. I'm like, no, my kids got to go there and do their homework. You ain't playing nothing until you do your
Right.
homework.
Until you do your homework. Right.
So I came up with this bright idea that everybody else's kids had to do that too. So I shut games down. When you came to the club, if you came in there right after school, go downstairs to the homework club. And we would sit down and we would do. I remember Otis Robinson. Otis, I always wonder where he was. He was
Wow.
one of my best kids. Otis was one of my
Yeah.
best kids. He was so smart. He
Aw.
was funny. And it was just so many of them. But we had the homework club, but Otis was first one in there. He's like, Miss Hattie, I gotta hurry up because we got a pool game going on. And I want to swim. It's like whatever you want, you can do whatever you want to do after you did your homework. But no
Absolutely.
games could be played until we had an hour and a half. And if you didn't have no homework, Miss Hattie had some for you. So
There you go.
ain't no sense in lying. You
There
go
you
do
go.
some work. So you might as well bring that work from school. But it was a good time. So seeing some of those guys yesterday brought me back. As you can see, I'm very excited. Brought back some really fond memories. Guys,
It
tell me
did.
about your week. What's going on with your week? How have you guys been? Adrian, let's start with you.
Oh, let's start with, well, let me piggyback off of what you were talking about as far as the Boys and Girls Club. Like, I recently have been talking since I am in Atlanta, Georgia. This has become the something. I'll say Hollywood 2.0, the new
Hollywood and
Mecca.
South.
Yeah. Or just a Mecca for everything. But in regards to sports, and as we talk about the Boys and Girls Club, I was talking to some phenomenal DJs that are a part of the top DJ coalitions here. And years ago, even for me, when I first came to Atlanta in 2003, all the way up until now, and DJs, people worked with Boys and Girls Club. What has happened is through the years, they got away from the exposure of dealing with celebrities in the media marketing world. And unfortunately, such as we go into the Boy Scouts type thing, they're being hit with so many liabilities of lawsuits that's coming through for people or for children who are molested. So they actually have shut that branch down. And when we talk about the Girl Scouts that I used to be a part of and learn how to survive through the mountains, which has
They
probably
done
led
stole
to
their cookies.
my wrongfulness of being
See what I'm
independent,
saying?
which is probably why I'm still single because of Girl Scouts.
They done
However,
stole their cookies.
be it as it may, yeah, they stole the cookies, but now nobody want my little cookies. That's why I'm single.
Oh,
But that's a whole nother show.
that is not
But
true. They still
That's
want your
another
cookies.
show.
it is true. I'm single. I'm sitting here with this tree. That's why this tree is here with me and not a
Tree.
man.
Like, I'm
It's a
sitting with
tree,
this tree.
not a man. But anyway, back to our story. As I was saying,
Okay.
with the Boys and Girls Club, what I realized is today there are a lot of things happening. And unfortunately, I don't know where they lost their way at, if it was from the executives that they hired, but there's no marketing or media companionship with them. And so what I think needs to happen, because Boy Scouts is done, they're full of lawsuits. Girl Scouts, they stole their cookies after they tried to go to Walmart. So the Boys and Girls Club, it still exists. It's just that people need to go to them and come up with some type of a marketing campaign with them. They're still relevant. So I mean, Hattie, we need to go over there and talk to them. Just figure out what can we do in the new and the now, since we're creating the new
We sure
norm
will. We sure
in
will.
order to work, because they exist. They don't have lawsuits. They don't have liabilities. So far, what we know, they haven't molested any children. So let's go for it, Hattie
Yeah,
and
thank
Lindsay.
you.
Let's go
Hey,
for it.
you know me. I told you I am a Boys and Girls Club kid. Any day of the
Let's
week,
do it.
all day. I am.
Let's
Hey
do
Neil,
it.
we see you. Thank you for. We're
Hey,
talking about
Neil. Yes.
Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
Yes.
And yes, I'm with you. I am with
Somebody
you on
reach
that one.
out to Hattie from Boys and Girls Club, from my mouth
Of
to your
America.
ears. Reach out to Hattie Lemon. We are open to come up with some new marketing campaigns in order for parents to know that this is an avenue that their children can go into, because our children are
Yeah,
definitely lost.
they
And
need
not
something.
all
They
of them
do.
can play sports, but they need a path to go on in order to know how to live life outside or in addition to being an athlete. So I
Well,
think the
listen,
Boys and Girls Club is important.
where else can you go to play ping pong?
It's true. That is
You gotta
true.
learn
I
ping
can't
pong.
name one place. I
That's
can't
true.
name one place around me.
Yeah, but no,
I
you're
want to
exactly
know.
correct. Yeah,
I know,
look,
right?
yeah, listen, I agree with you 100%. I'm all in. I am
I'm
definitely
on that,
all in.
Hattie. I'm on that.
We
In
we
fact,
gonna
I'm
we're
going to
gonna work
call
on
them
that.
tomorrow to find out what is it that we can do to help them. Because right now we're in such a war of life right
Yeah,
now and trying to
yeah.
figure out where we stand or where we're wanted. And I feel
Mhm.
like as an adult, if I'm as confused, I can only imagine how the
How the
children are
children are
feeling.
feeling.
So
Yeah,
allow me as an adult to be confused because that only means I'm going to figure it out. But for
right.
these children, we need to provide them a platform and knowing this is the path you need to be on until you become an adult and
Yeah,
you grow into the ability of having the definitive right to be able to make a decision. They can't
yep,
make a decision as a child. They're just only allowed to live.
yep,
But they can only live their life accordingly to
yeah,
what we present and provide to them.
yeah, yep. I
So if
agree.
we
That's
present and
it.
provide chaos, that's how they live. So don't be mad at them if they become
If that's all
killers
they know.
between 15 years old and 22. That's what's
Mhm.
been presented.
Yeah,
So
I,
I want to present to these kids a seed of life, which is what I have been doing since I have been here. I have been planting seeds. And right now, today in this generation, as crazy as it seems, I know a lot of these newer generation people are living off the seeds that I planted. And so I can do it again and
yep.
again and again and again because I keep having car accidents and I keep living and I keep walking away with not one scratch or maybe a scratch, but not two.
A
And
bump
so
and a
now,
bruise, more like a bump and a bruise.
and so I'm to the point of realizing I really have a purpose here, and my purpose is just not to die.
That's right.
So be it as it may, Boys and Girls Club, the ladies in the locker room, we're coming for you.
We coming for you. All right,
Yeah.
Lindsay, what's your take on it?
On that, especially just kind of a little piggyback off of it. A lot of these nonprofits, especially after the last couple of years, really do need attention and they do need help, and not only financially, but with other fundraising or just people in their office, volunteer work, that type of stuff is really important right now because a lot of these nonprofits have missed their annual fundraisers that
They didn't get no money last year. A lot of
they
people.
didn't get a lot, and unless they had like sponsors or people who like give annually, it's down. So and if you can't give financially, like I said, volunteer work, that's huge right now. They've probably limited their office staff, and a lot of nonprofits just need as much help always, but especially after these last couple of years. So that's what I can give with this. And with that, I'm going to take us to our first break, and we'll be right back.
Be right back.
Hello guys, my name is Gloria. I am an instructor at LA Fitness Atlantic Station. I teach Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and on Saturdays we hike. We go to a different location. Our classes are 5:45 at Atlantic Station. There's kickboxing, there's body work, there's power circuit, everything you can imagine, and then we hike. We hike Kennesaw, Stone Mountain, the Palisades. We go everywhere. Come out and join us. Find out what your mission is and have fun while you do it. You can find me on Facebook, Gloria Jackson, and I want you to have fun while you get fit. Come join me.
I gotta say what's up to my girl Gloria Jackson. Gloria,
Me too.
Sunshine Jackson. I tell everybody every week, if you're really serious about fitness, you can find Miss Gloria Monday through Thursday, 5:45 at the LA Fitness at Atlantic Station. And even if you're visiting from out of town,
I'm going.
yeah, and even if you're visiting from out of town, And
Okay.
yeah, and you know, like when I travel out, and that was the main reason I joined LA Fitness, because when I travel, I can go anywhere. So if you travel to Atlanta and you're looking for somewhere to work out, if you're anywhere near Atlantic Station, look at 5:45 Monday through Thursday. And like I said, she got kickboxing, power, you know, this, and I was watching her. I'm like, okay, this is some serious stuff here. Bring your towel, because she will have
When
you
we
sweating.
going, Hattie? When we going for kickboxing?
Monday, look,
The way they robbing
kickboxing,
and stealing and killing cars at a gas pump, we need to go learn how
you got
to
to learn
kick
about the
somebody.
kickboxing.
I'm gonna
Uh,
go down in the kick for the Lord of Jesus. If you're gonna kill me, at least I can kick
look,
you first. When
kick
we
your way
going?
out. Listen, if you're going to go, I tell everybody start on Monday with Miss Gloria, because Monday is that start day, and then Tuesday get a little bit more crunk, and then Wednesday a little bit more crunk, and then Thursday we kickboxing. So
Thursday you're out.
Lindsay,
Thursday you're out.
Lindsay, I'm gonna go and get Hattie and I some content for next week. Hattie, we about to go and kick something. A
we gonna go kick
mule, a
something.
brick wall, a black man. We
I'm-
going to kick something.
A mule, or a brick wall, or something. We gonna kick something. Oh,
Don't
Lord.
leave out a black man. I said a black man. We're gonna kick him too. They need to get
We gonna
kicked back
kick
into
Gotta kick them into shape.
reality, because they lost.
We can kick that plant behind you. I don't know.
all of the
Oh, no.
kick him too. Kick him.
Oh, she done kick the plant to curb that
We
quick.
gonna one day replace this plant with a man, but until then, it's the
He gonna sit
plant.
right there and just beat.
This is my
look,
love. Don't
It
talk
looks-
It's gonna
about
be
my
like
tree,
just
Lindsay.
it's gonna be like destroyed next week. Like
It looks very loved. So, ladies, anything else you know going on in sports this week? Well, I wanted to say, I needed to clarify something. Last week, I talked about the one of the most decorated women, Miss Allison. Well, Allison Felix is one of the
Okay.
most decorated women in track and field. She has 11 medals total. And they're saying, or she said, she was retiring this year, but everybody else says she didn't look like she was ready to retire. So we'll see if she's going to be back in 4 more years. But, you know,
Yeah.
she, you know, like I said, she turned out to be one of the most decorated women in all of U.S. Olympics.
Olympics,
11.
okay.
Yep. And then there was one other girl I had to mention, Miss
Okay.
Tamara Misa Stuck.
Mm.
She was a wrestler. And
No,
when I tell
really?
yes, a female wrestler. And
I
what
missed
happened?
that.
You Google her. You
I
got to
will.
see her. And her acceptance speech was just, I cried. Everybody that watched it cried. You know, her dad was one of her biggest fans, but he died before she made it to the Olympics and won. But he had been to all her high school stuff and coached her in this stuff. And she was another one. And she reminds me of Gloria. When you see her, just a bubble of sunshine. She is really high energy, and she's a wrestler. And she won the gold for the U.S. team in women's wrestling.
Amazing. Because I will
Amazing.
honestly say in sports, Lindsay, name the top 5 female wrestlers in America.
Real wrestlers, not WrestleMania wrestlers.
Right.
I was gonna say,
Right.
Patty can name a WrestleMania.
Yeah. We did the WrestleMania wrestlers.
And so my point is not to put Lindsay on the spot or Hattie, but myself as well, as to say, when
They're
it
not
comes to
publicized.
females, I do not like the publicity that is not provided
That
to
they
them
don't
in
get.
the sports in which they play, because they play 5 to 10 times harder than the man does, and they get recognition even when their talent lacks.
Yep.
Well, I keep bringing back to like Carissa Shields, like she's the best
Carissa.
boxer of all time,
Yeah.
and
Ooh, she got
female
belts.
or male, and she
Absolutely.
and she has 2 Olympic gold medals, and she was the first woman to win one of those gold medals in boxing, but she had to switch over to MMA because she was getting more publicity, more money, more like attention that way, and that's not her sport. She should be able to continue in the sport she was dominating in and get that much attention. But you ask men who even box if they know who that is, and they're like, wait, there is somebody I know that is good, but I don't remember her name. Like, if you like, there's so like you name like ask the same guys the top 10 boxers of male boxers of all time, and they could name them off, and like
Mhm.
20, they 30, I don't know. They
Yeah.
they just
But not the
know
females.
that, like, but the females, it's like in
They
somebody
don't
who's
know.
the best and they don't know.
They
So it's
don't
Well,
kind of
even
like
know.
the same thing.
I feel like as Swag Girl from Swaggerlicious Media, I'm going to start reaching out to some of these athletes that we are talking about, because I know that they are desperately looking for platforms that are interested in their story. And a lot of times we're more interested in men's pros and cons than we are women at all. And it's not fair as a woman, and we're ladies in the locker room. We don't just have to be in the NBA or the NFL locker rooms. We can also be in these women's locker room as well for every and any various of sports that there are out there. So, Hattie, my commitment to this show and love for you and Lindsay and for our other people who are traveling, we're going to reach out to these women and give them a platform to start speaking on, because in all fairness, we have a right to. We as women have a right
We
to.
do. And to piggyback on that, this weekend, when I went back to visit some of my hometown people from Passaic, New Jersey at this cookout, which was in Carolina, in North Carolina. It's usually here in Atlanta, but people from Carolina and New Jersey, they used to come down to Atlanta. So this year, the host family was in Carolina, so we all went to Carolina.
Okay.
I met the most phenomenal young woman. You ever, by chance, meet someone and then you find out it was destiny for you to meet? Well, this young lady passed us coming in. And I looked at my sister who was with me. I said, "Look at that. That's a New Jersey driver right there. I can tell when she swerved in."
You felt it, yeah.
And I just looked at her, didn't know who she was, period.
But the energy.
The energy. But then even when I seen her getting out of her car, I was like, "Oh my God, who is she?" I was like, "I feel like I know her." So guess what, guys? I had never met her in my life.
Mm-hmm.
However, she kept seeing people talk to me. And she walked up to me. She said, "I keep seeing people talk to you. You probably knew my mom." And I'm like, "So who's your mother?" When she told me who her mother was, we both almost started crying. Her mother, as a little bitty girl, I had a neighbor. Her name was Khadija. And she was my big girlfriend. She was a big girl. And we used to just talk. We couldn't go anywhere. You know, we were grounded. Our parents, we didn't just go running off in the streets like kids do today. We were on the block, and a lot of times right on the front porch. You ain't go nowhere.
Yeah.
So I used to come and talk to her on her steps, or she'll come around the corner and talk to me. And we were such good friends. She was my big friend, her mom. And I never met her because by the time she had children, I had moved on. We moved, but ironically, I want to say last month or even the month before last, she popped in. I was like, I wonder whatever happened to her. And this was her daughter. And I was like, she looked at me. I was like, "Oh my God." And then she just started crying because I said, "I loved your mom. I loved her. She was my friend. We had so much fun." And Saida, her name is Saida. Now, I'm gonna bring the story back in before we start crying again.
Because I'm about to cry.
I loved her mama. Her name is Khadija. But I want to tell you, her reputation, I don't even know what to say. She was a very shrewd businesswoman. She handled her business. She did her thing. She made a great life for herself. I didn't know any of that because I knew her as this young girl and we were just good friends. But I loved her. She was my big friend, my big girlfriend. And we were cool. Saida is a sports agent.
Wow.
And she does deal with a lot of the WNBA and also some retired NBA and NFL players. And when I tell you, when we linked up, Once we found out who we were, I was like, "Oh my God, I am so connected to you. I met you one time in your life and you were a little bitty baby and your mama let me hold you. That was it." And then we parted ways. I never seen her. I moved is what happened. I moved away and I never seen her again. And we did. So now we do have a sports agent, Miss Saida, and she is going to be introducing us to a lot. And it is so ironic that we're having the conversations, which brings it all full circle. The conversation that you were having about the women not having a voice and all of that. She played women's semi-pro and I think also pro basketball, but she was a basketball player, now sports agent. and she was talking about that, giving some of these ladies a voice and how some of them don't have any voices, and even but she even mentioned the guys. She's like, when they're out there in that field and they're playing and they're giving their lives and they're giving their all, everybody loved them, but when they don't play no more, ain't nobody thinking about them. So she said, I'm still that voice for them. I'm still working with them. I'm still helping them. So Saida, I love you, girl, just like I loved your mom. I love you too. I know you're watching, and I look forward to our union, and I know we're going to do some great things together.
Yes.
So
I love that story. Oh
yeah. Oh my God. If you knew how I loved her mom. I don't know if you had a child friend that you lost contact with, but she was, like I said, she's a couple years older than me. But imagine if I'm only 12, she might have been 13 or 15 or something like that. She was a little bit bigger than me, but my girl.
It's bigger. It seems like a bigger like gap when you're a little kid. You're like
exactly.
1 year, just like
exactly.
Whoa, that person's so much older. Like, oh my God.
And there really ain't nothing but
and they're really
years.
not. They're like
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Wow.
But yeah, that's my girl. And like I said, your mama was my girl. You my girl too. So she's going to be working with us and introducing us to some of the talent that she represents. And Miss Saida, like I said, I love you, girl. And we're ladies in the locker room. We're there for you, and I know you're here for us. So we're gonna be doing it.
Absolutely, we love her. I welcome her to the show. I can't wait to meet her.
She's gonna be on the show. She's coming up. She's gonna be.
Can't wait.
Up. That's awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, where are we swinging to next?
Well, next week we're gonna swing to another commercial.
Great.
All right. Thank you, Swag Girl, who just threw us to a commercial.
Is anyone up for a quickie? A sports quickie. Welcome back. This is our sports quickies, and I guess I'll start off this week. I'm going to start off with the Little League World Series, and it's taking place right now. It's August 19th to the 29th. 16 teams will be taking the field to represent their communities, have earned a spot to Williamsport. The reason why it isn't the World, which is actually one of the only sports that actually includes, when you're saying you're a world champion, actually includes the World. This year, they're not doing that because last year they had to postpone it, and because of the pandemic, and this year they decided to go forward with it. But this is the first time since 1975 that there aren't going to be any other teams besides ones from the United States. But another interesting thing is the Angels, Major League Baseball. I think I have something with Angels on it that I'm pointing to. They are in Williamsport today and at the Little League World Series. And the team spent the morning signing autographs and meeting with the players and taking part in some of the fun, including sliding down the hill. If you ever watch the games, they have those little cardboards and they race down the hill a lot of times because it's like all muddy. So anyway, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani signed baseballs with some of the kids and the tournament, and they're going to be playing against the Cleveland Indians. The other thing I wanted to bring up is the Paralympics are beginning this week. The United States are sending 240 members to the 2020 U.S. Paralympic team, including 6 guides for visually impaired athletes that will complete the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. The opening ceremonies will take place on August 24th, with competitions starting on August 25th and concluding September the 6th. On the roster are 129 Paralympics will be returning to represent the U.S. 2020 team, including 3 6-time Paralympians, 10 5-time Paralympians, and 14 4-time Paralympians, and 105 first-time Paralympians. The delegation holds a collection of 233 medals from 51 Paralympic championships. A couple of stats I wanted to bring up. 41 states of the District of Columbia represented on the U.S. roster, with California with 25, Illinois 12, Arizona 11, Colorado 11, and New York, Minnesota, and Washington 11. The 2020 roster includes 121 women and 113 men. Of the 6 guides, there are 2 women and 4 men. There are 21 athletes who self-identify as military, including 3 active duty who to continue to serve in the Army: shooter John Joss II, Kevin Nguyen, and swimmer Elizabeth Marks. The Army has the largest representation, with 14 athletes, and 4 have served in the Navy, 2 of the Marine Corps, and 1 in the Air Force. Awesome. The athletes will be making their 6th Paralympic Games, or 6 of the 8 possible U.S. sports in Tokyo earned podium appearances as a Paralympic Games in 2016. 3 team sports come to Tokyo as reigning Paralympic champions. There are 2 new games, that are introduced. One is lost it. I think it's ping pong. Let me get back to you. Sorry about that one.
No problem. No problem, Lindsay.
Just had that.
No problem.
Okay, so the other thing I was going to talk about, I will come back to that on that. Is the first game that the Chargers had. The Chargers are playing right now, but last week we played the Rams in LA, and we were there for my dad's 70th birthday. It was a surprise.
Oh, yay.
And the Chargers won 13-6. This was the first game in person played, or first game at SoFi Stadium in person, and there was it was almost 70,000 fans, and the capacity is 71,500. So it was pretty full.
Wow.
Some of the things that they were talking about, because they have to work out, is one, obviously, kind of small things, food and parking. But one of the big things where we were sitting just over to the side, a few sections, 10, 12 sections over, a huge fight broke out. And this wasn't a small fight. This was the thing that was trending on Twitter, and that probably neither the Rams nor the Chargers wanted for their first big game at SoFi Stadium to be blasted all over the internet. That wasn't what they were kind of going for.
No,
and the thing of it is that it wasn't broken up. So it in time, it lasted a while, and people were beating each other. Mm-hmm. And it was so bad. So I think that they're going to be working on their security a little bit, and getting kind of the bugs out from last week. But that's basically, but the one big takeaway from that is the Chargers are now number 1 in LA. Let's all clap for that. And that was the best part about everything that we learned from that game. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna pass it on to you, Swag Girl, while I get those two new sports that were
Okay.
for the Paralympics. I'll go with that.
I got you. Are we ready for me? We
We
ready?
are ready. But I wanted to say for the Chargers, and I've got to go back.
Let's touch
and
on Lindsay.
I want to go back and I want to make sure, but I believe the Chargers did a very brilliant thing, and they hired the Falcons ex interim coach to come and work for them. So I think that he's with the Chargers now, and he was a good guy, and I was so happy that he's somewhere. The Falcons was crazy. They should have kept him and made him the head coach. He was just the interim coach while they looked for the coach, but then they decided to go with the new guy. I don't know who he is. I wish them nothing but
it's Rams, or with ours, like the old Rams coach. So
it's a switch. Well, it's a flip flop then, because our old Falcons coach is now with the Rams.
Wow.
McVay is still there as their head coach.
No, that's the cute young guy.
That's the cute guy. Yeah, he's still there at the Rams.
No. This guy is not a head coach. He just went to work for him. He's one of the side coaches.
Yeah, one of the guys in the Rams, when he came and he's our head coach now.
Okay.
He was with the Rams, but not the head coach.
No, the guy I'm talking about was the head coach, the interim head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, but they let him go and they brought in a new guy. But when they let him go, your guys picked him up and now he's an assistant coach over there.
Got it.
So that's what I was saying. He's not a head coach, he's an assistant coach, but he's good. He's good, and I'm glad.
The two new sports, badminton and taekwondo. Got it. I knew I was gonna get it.
Oh my God, badminton.
Badminton and taekwondo.
She just came up with Batman and Robin. Like, I got you. Okay.
I was like, I need to get this before. I'm like 22 sports. I had to get those. It was bugging me so bad. I was like, I know it was like something with I can't say the wrong thing. Okay.
All right.
Badminton and taekwondo. Okay. All right, so girl, I think it's you.
All right. Well, we're just gonna pick up.
I just want to say
it
was Raheem Morris. That's his name. Raheem Morris.
We're gonna Google him.
He was the Falcons interim coach that they let him just kind of step in and do the job until they found a coach. And then they just let him go, brought in a new guy. But now you guys have him. He's an assistant coach with you guys. I love Raheem. So I'm glad thank you, Jonathan. I couldn't think it. I was like you, Lindsay. I couldn't say it, but I couldn't think his name for nothing.
Is that right? So now you have to cheer for us, kind of. Now that
because I love
him, you have to.
I will be watching. I seen him on the sidelines. I was watching him this week in the game. I was like, "That's where you are!" Yay! So yeah, we will. Yeah.
Perfect. See, like I know that you're like a person that follows players and coaches instead of people instead of teams.
Right.
So now I got you. Now I got you on my team.
I am a huge Raheem fan, and I will be watching. You're exactly correct.
So excited
girl,
about that.
Swag girl, take it away.
Well, okay, so let's just bring completion to this story. And what I will say in regards to Atlanta and our football team, the Falcons, they have now been deemed 100% completed as far as the players being vaccinated, except for 2. So obviously those 2 players, and we'll talk about that and within the following week, who have not been vaccinated. We'll talk about them later, because one thing that I have realized in the vaccination sector is that a lot of people in various professional sectors are now being targeted and having to commit to making a decision of if they want to keep their career or if they want to end it. And that's in sports, that's in filming, that's in music, it's in entertainment, it's everywhere. With the COVID-19 thing that's happening, we have now come down to if you're on one side or the other. And the one side or the other is if you're vaccinated or if you're not. And so in addition to every other sector that question has become relevant and prevalent in, sports is definitely one, as well as relationships, in which I like to talk about on Swagalicious Media. But here, we're going to keep it specific to sports. And piggybacking off of Lindsay, we are now going to transfer over into what I want to talk about on Swagalicious Media. My name is Adrian. I am Swag Girl with Swagalicious Media. We are going to touch on some of the sport topics that is happening today. And if you want to get further information or expound on the story, just click on to my website and then you can read the additional information that has been provided. But today, we will start with, on this Sunday, what's happening in the news for us. And I'm going to start with, on the good note, Jay-Z has reportedly applied for his sporting betting license within the state of New York. So according to the outlets, the 51-year-old, if you didn't know how old he was and you cared because you wanted to send him a birthday card, has submitted an application to the New York State Gaming Commission requiring approval for online sports betting license. And he has also teamed up with Michael Rubin for the venture, who is also another billionaire within America. So look him up, and now we can see who Jay-Z and Michael Rubin are and what all they are trying to accomplish within the sports arena. We know Jay-Z is kind of tapping into everything right now. Hats off to him. The next thing we want to get into, I don't really know what's happening in society right now and what's happening with people and the crimes that are being committed. But what I do want to say is that the crimes that are being committed is not just with your everyday mediocre 9-to-5 employee type people. It's also coming into play with our professionals who are being granted wishes of a lifetime that can still mess it up, right? And so we're going to go into Trevor, who has come into he is now deemed, let me change that, to a sexual assault accuser. And he is being grilled on trial right now, as a California woman has detailed what she described as her reluctant and fearful decision to come forward in allegations that Trevor Bauer assaulted her within a proceeding that just happened in court. And actually what happened in this story is that she did not come forward to the public about what had physically happened to her. It was a nurse who had examined her that came forward. But the incident that happened during the sexual assault was so heinous that it had to be exposed. I mean, even down to fisting in every open cavity that a woman has in her life. And sometimes I just wonder, like, what is a person going under to even figure that they can administer such heinous pain onto another human being?
She was like knocked out. She was knocked out.
Yeah. But this nurse was so compelled that the victim didn't even come out with a story. It was the nurse who came out with the story. The victim had to double back and come out and request for a restraining order against her accuser because of the nurse. I don't blame the nurse at all, because I feel like it is a lot of things that we as women trying to love men, no matter what profession that they're in, we will endure whatever curse, pain, or cause they put upon us in order to love them. Is it right or wrong? It's for us to determine. But be it as the ladies in the locker room, we're just here to share the story. So that's what's going on in that aspect. Come back to it later on, discuss your views with us and how you feel about that. I'm pretty much disgusted that.
I think also, like, he won Cy Young Award, and he was he got like picked up by the Dodgers for the most money any person in baseball player has ever gotten, and they've had to have background checked him and seen some of the stuff.
But they
have
don't
seen the stuff like that's so much money that you're giving someone. I know, but like, it's just, my gosh, like, you're giving somebody that much money and you're saying doesn't matter because he can throw a baseball, but like, this can happen. And it's just that whole story, and like the pictures and the stuff that has come out about that
Disgusting, just like
It's
Adrian
just
said.
disgusting. It makes me sick. It doesn't
Just like
matter if
Adrian said, yeah.
somebody's asking for, like, all this stuff that other people are throwing out, like she was
No.
asking for it. There's a text message, there's this, there's that. Doesn't matter. Whatever that is, it's horrible. So
Right.
you can continue. We were just talking a little bit.
Yeah, we were
No.
discussing how horrible of a story this is, and
No, it
And,
is.
you know, it doesn't matter how much money a person makes or has. You are still expected to act like a human being and treat others the same way.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know, obviously, and what Lindsay was saying is, well, they should have done a background. They don't. All they care about is, like you said, how fast they can throw a ball. And now, listen, let me tell you this: there are certain schools like
Mhm.
Alabama and some of these other colleges. They do all of that before they let those guys into their school, because there's been years that they spent all this time and money invested in these guys and get them to their school just to find out that off the field or off the court they're horrible people. So places like that, they do stuff like that. But
Mhm.
everybody is not that accountable, and not everybody even cares. And it's
Gotcha.
unfortunate, but it's the truth.
It is.
I was like,
It
yeah,
is.
he won like Cy Young Award, and now they're just gonna put him on the Dodgers for the most money ever, and you're just like, my
What do
God,
we do?
like, can somebody background check him? And he also had like somebody else, like another accuser, come out, and he posted something on his Instagram or Twitter or something, showing all the text messages and showing like how she was trying to go back and see him and all this type of stuff. But that doesn't take away the fact that, like, you did do this, even if she
Yeah.
did, if she was young and she just was like infatuated with you and she did throw herself at you at certain points, it doesn't take away the fact that what you did to her.
But like
It
she said,
doesn't.
she was knocked out. Who does anything to anybody when they're knocked out?
No, you shouldn't. None of
That
that. That's
seems to, but
disgusting.
well, I will say, in dealing with media,
And
that
Neil
seems
says
to be
all
the thing.
NCAA does. Neil says that all of the NCAA does background checks on those students before they pull them in. So that's a good thing. But you were
Yeah.
saying that with the media, what were you saying?
The media, as far as the background, like in this scenario, I mean, there are so many stories outside of sports where people have been exonerated for raping women because the woman was drunk or drug induced or intoxicated and didn't remember. And I don't feel like because she does not remember or recall, that's a reason to rape her and get away with victimizing her. So that's what I was going to say in regards to that story. But staying within the sports rectum, or of a spectrum of everything that we're doing right now,
I was thinking
not
about it.
rectum.
Rectum.
I was gonna
I'm
let
sorry.
it go. I was
I
gonna let
live
it
in
go.
I live in Atlanta. I deal with a lot of men who are not for women, and rectum is their
And
number
they're
one. I'm
dealing with
sorry.
sports rectum. I get it. It's okay.
Sorry. Moving
It's all
on
right.
to the next story
Moving
for ladies
on.
in the locker room. We're going to go on to Trevor, who has been charged with sexual assault. His accuser ended up coming out. I think we just talked about him, though. His
Yes,
accuser
we did.
came out. The nurse came out, ended up telling the
Yes.
story.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
came out with Jay-Z, who was actually linked up with a billionaire, Michael Rubin. And they are actually coming out,
Gaming.
and Jay-Z, actually, according to the outlets, a 51-year-old Brooklyn native recently submitted an application to the New York State Gaming Commission requesting approval for an online sports betting license. He teamed up with billionaire, if you don't know who he is, and you probably don't, Michael Rubin, for the venture. So look him up. But they are going after that. And I'm a native from Cleveland, Ohio, and I know they just did a lot of casino licensing rights there. So I'm just wondering where the betting thing and the fantasy football and basketball, all that stuff goes with that thing being legalized with them later on. And then we also got on to boxer. I'm not sure if you guys know of Gervonta Davis. He's a boxer.
Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, he was recently on a private plane that crashed shortly after takeoff Saturday, but he seemingly avoided any kind of injury. Right.
Good.
So
Very
he
good.
posted the shortly after the incident on his Instagram live. He is 26-year-old. He is a 26-year-old. He's coming off of a June 26 knockout win over Mario, securing the WBA super lightweight title in the process. And he is also 25-0 within his knockouts in his professional career and has secured the WBA belts in 3 different weight classes. But what he did experience over the last few days, because none of those things matter, he was able to get onto a private plane and ascend, but just a little bit before it abruptly descended and hit ground again, basically meaning it crashed. Now, within this plane site, it was more than, or was at 10 people. They were fortunately a lot injured, but the conclusion that he came up with as a boxer, much like Aretha Franklin, hats off to her, gods, our queen of soul music, he's came to the conclusion that he's no
He
longer
ain't flying no
on.
more.
He
He ain't
ain't
flying
doing
no
no
more.
private planes no more. And so,
Nope.
like Aretha Franklin did, we don't know what her incident was, if it was any, and she just automatically knew from the
Ain't
beginning
flying no
he's no
more.
longer flying. He will be on the road. So, for any and all promoters out there who is wanting to book him in their cities,
Better
don't
give him
worry about
time
a
to get
flight
there.
plan. He's
Look,
driving.
just give him time to get there because he ain't flying.
He's driving.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that, Adrian.
Thank you.
Great information for both of you and for you too, Lindsay. Thank you guys so much. We're
Absolutely.
gonna move right on. I know our time is winding down. While in Chicago, I did have the opportunity to meet. Of course, what's up, going everybody? It's your girl, it's Hattie. While in Chicago, of course, I went there to meet with Mr. Brandon Cox. We showed you his video earlier where he goes around and he raises money and he purchases shoes, helps with housing and clothes and everything for different homeless people or just people having a hard time. So that's what he's been doing. If anyone wants to donate to Brandon Cox and his nonprofit, he does have a Cash App, and it's just Cash App, $ BCox34, which was his number, $ BCox34. If you'd like to make a contribution to help him out, he's going to be doing this. And as he was saying when I was there, it's getting ready to get cold. And again, he wants to go around, make sure that, homeless people can, if he can get them off the street, if they need a coat, if they need shoes, his family and his organization, they will be doing that. Now, while in Chicago, guys, as I told you, it was my first time in Chicago. I had a really good time, but I met some really awesome people. And there was one other person that I met and I interviewed. So I'd like to show you a video clip of my time in Chicago, as well as the interview of this other person. So I'm going to share it, and here we go. So I'm out here. Who knew Chicago had this pretty blue-green water? I never would have thunk it. And look at the beautiful Chicago skyline. Look at that. It's a beautiful day in Chicago, high 82. And this is called Navy Pier. So we're hanging out by Navy Pier tonight. There's that Sea Dog again. Now that one, you better be ready to get wet. Because see, they drive it nice and easy now, but in a minute they're going to take off, they'll be flying, and water splash up on you on the boat. No thank you. So I came across this gentleman sitting here, and he told me his name is Mr. Bob Newhart. Bob asked me to sit down and have a conversation with him. Well, Bob, tell me about this water. Let's chat. So, this is my first time in Chicago, and I met this gentleman here, and I had a question. I want to know where this blue-green water comes from down in the middle of the Southwest. Looks like beach water, ocean water. It's beautiful. It's an aqua color. Sir, you look like you've been here for a very long time. I see you've got your pencil and your notepad. Your hair is really nice. You got nice shoes on, nice slacks. Why is this water so pretty, and how did that happen? I need answers. You think he's going to give them to me? Hey, I am in Chicago and I met some wonderful, wonderful Chicago fans. And I wanted to take a time out and have a quick little chat with one of the fans here because I understand you are a former gymnast.
I am.
All right. Well, why don't you tell everybody who you are and where you're from?
My name is Cindy Zamayoa. I am from Chicago, Illinois.
All right, Cindy. So, Cindy, of course, I've got to ask you, how do you feel and what are your thoughts about what's going on with gymnasts in our U.S. team, especially Simone Biles, who last week she backed out of the Olympics, stating that she had some mental issues, that her brain was not connecting, and so she walked away. And this week she came back. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, if I could, the first thing I would do is give Simone a great big hug and say, nobody's to judge what you had to do for yourself. She made a huge statement for mental health. Nobody knows what anybody's going through, so I can't not judge her for it. She did what she had to do. So happy she's back. We need her.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today. Don't forget, we are Ladies in the Locker Room. Catch us on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on YouTube or Facebook Live. Thanks again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So apparently you can adopt a duck for this duck thing. When I tell you they were serious about this duck thing, they were serious about this duck thing. All right, I see you jamming to my.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still jamming. I'm
listen,
sorry.
all the music you hear comes
Okay.
from my son's arsenal. My son is a music producer. So the music on our opening song, our closing song, and all the stuff I get from his arsenal of music. He's a very good producer. I love it. I saw you jamming. I'll be jamming. I'll be sitting
I'm
here editing.
jamming.
I saw you jamming to his music. His name is Ray Vaughn, and he's a music
Okay.
producer.
Small interruption. Let's get him in on NFT Sports. Call me on Monday.
call you on Monday.
Okay. Moving right along because we
Moving
only
right
got a few
along.
more minutes.
Yes, sir. I have one more thing to share with you guys. So
Yes.
September the 26th, the Falcons will be playing the New York Giants. And you know that's a cross between my brain right there. I am going to have a big problem that day. I'm a long time New York Giants fan. I became a Falcon fan, of course, not when I first moved to Atlanta. It gradually grew on me. So now, but I'm still a Giants fan. And I'm Falcon fans. So I'm going to be going up to New York. There is a trip that has been organized. And also, if anyone from New Jersey, from Atlanta, from anywhere else, if you'd like to go to this game and also go to the tailgate party, they're going to have tickets available. You can hit me up on ladiesintheLockerRoom.com, and I'd like to share the information as soon as they send it to me. The tickets will be $300. I was telling somebody, I don't know who told anybody that tickets to the game were cheap anymore. They're not. They used to be. But this is tickets to the game and the tailgate party with all you can eat and drink. And they're going to be $300. And next week I'll have the exact link, whether it's going to be on Eventbrite or wherever they're going to post it up at. But they do have tickets left. They have been doing this, they had this out here for a while. They had the airfare, the hotel, and all of that. Now they've broken it down. So we have some tickets left. We didn't sell as many as we wanted. So if anyone would be interested in going into, I'm going. I'll be up there. I'm going to the New York Giants and the Falcons. That's, like I said, that's my world right there.
You need a shirt that has half and half.
You know what? Because
right
I'm going to be screaming through the whole game.
Doesn't matter who has the ball. Doesn't matter. Every down, she's screaming.
Every down, I will be screaming. So, but if anybody's interested, hit me up at ladiesintheLockerRoom at gmail.com, and I will get you the information on how to get your tickets. And if you live in New Jersey and you want to get tickets, if you live in Atlanta, you want to get tickets wherever you live, and you like to go to that game, there are tickets still available. Good seats, and I would like to say that too. Good seats for the tailgate and for the game, $300. Hit me up and let me know. Ladies, it's time for us to wind it on down here. This has been an awesome show.
I'm not ready.
I know, right?
There's so much more to talk about.
We have so much more. It has been an awesome show, ladies. And you know how they say time
been.
goes fast when you're having fun. We actually absolutely have had a wonderful show. We just gel so good. We have so much to talk about, and we try to get it all in. There's a lot going on, and there's always a lot going on in sports, and I really do appreciate you guys. And ladies in the locker room, as always. Next week, one of the things I'm going to be celebrating, and I have some pictures. I'm trying to find more. Ladies in the locker room is 12 years old.
Wow.
They're 12 years old this month. So I'm going to be sharing.
I've only been here 30 minutes. But that's awesome, 12 years.
12 years old. So next week, I am going to be showing some pictures of some of my girls in the past. And we may even have one or two drop in to say hello and do something. Because we're celebrating our 12th year this year. And I have had the absolute opportunity to network with and work with so many beautiful women of sports. And so next week, we're going to be celebrating our 12-year anniversary on this show.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Excited.
Awesome.
I am too. So you ladies, you have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And hey, to everybody out there, thanks for watching Ladies in the Locker Room. Don't forget to hit us up, ladiesintheLockerRoom at gmail.com for your comments. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Flip. And anyone else who watches, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Good night.